Carson Wentz, is this it? Is he a starting quarterback anymore?
Man. Yeah, I think he is.
I think he probably is too. There's some bad starting quarterbacks.
Yep. I think he comes back.
Does he come back to Indy?
Yes. I don't know why. I think they're all in on him. I think they got unlucky with close games, and they don't want to blame him. He'll look at his stats. He'll show you that, like I said, he was a warrior on the road, and that's a shit division. I think they stay with him at least another year.
I don't remember if I've made this point on a podcast before. Mm-hmm. I was thinking the Andrew Luck abruptly retiring.
Yeah.
Might have been the most underrated NFL story of the last 10 years.
That's so funny. I was thinking about this the other day.
Kyle, turn the camera on. Let's talk about this. Kyle
fell asleep.
No, I think Kyle might have COVID
in the third
too.
quarter of the Chargers.
Think about it. What was he like? He was like the sixth best quarterback in the league, the seventh best quarterback in the league. They had this offensive line. They had this thing. They had the salary they were paying him. Mm-hmm. So it hurt them salary for at least a year or two. But also, like, he's way better than Carson Wentz. And you think, like, what Cincy has with Burrow, what the Chargers have with Herbert. Like, fuck, what the Patriots might have with Mac Jones. And they had it with Luck, and he goes. And ever since then, they've been chasing this quarterback thing. And now this year with Wentz, like, they go 9-8. That wasn't a 9-8 team.
No.
And Wentz and Tua were, if you were winning despite those guys, you weren't winning because of them. And if Luck just physically doesn't take the beating that he took those first few years because they didn't have any linemen because Ryan Grigson was such a bad GM, maybe he's still there and maybe that's the favorite in the AFC right now. It's just, it's such a weird what if that I don't feel like you and I have talked about once on this pod. Joe Judge, is this it?
Well, I don't get it.
You have some Giants fans in your life, right?
Yeah,
they're furious at Joe Judge.
Oh, they hate him. Did you know tickets? The cheapest ticket at MetLife was $6, and I said it to our friend Brad. He's like, "Really? It's too much. I still wouldn't go. $6 for a ticket at MetLife to see that crap team."
There were pictures online today on Twitter of the parking lot, and it was just completely empty. That parking lot at MetLife, that's usually a shit show. I mean, part of the problem was they built that stadium right before they kind of figured out how to build modern, fun football stadiums. So it's not fun to go there. It's a pain in the ass to get there, and then the team's awful.
It's not fun when it's 3rd and 9 and you're doing a quarterback sneak from your own 6. That's not fun either. But we're going to see Zimmer get fired. We're going to see Nagy get fired.
Joe Judge.
But no, I don't know. Like, these guys are going to go, and maybe Pete Carroll, but Joe Judge is going to keep his job. You think he's gone? I think they do keep him. The Giants organization's like very, but I don't know how you fire the GM and not the coach. This is a bizarre
I think you
situation.
fire everybody. I think you start over and you have Parcells and Francesa.
Whoa. Oh, yeah, great.
I think you bring them in as co-GMs.
Nice.
Give them the car keys for 2 years. At least the press conferences would be fun.
Yeah. And don't they co-own a horse? They could bring the horse. Yeah. They could ride the horse in to the sideline, see what's
Francesca give press conferences. I was talking to Bill. This is a humongous draft for us. It's humongous. Yeah, the Giants fans are out on Joe Judge. They've had the worst half decade of any team in the league, which is saying something. Like, even the Jaguars were in the playoffs a couple years ago. Mm-hmm. And yet in Man in the Arena, they win 2 of the episodes, and I'm still fucking pissed. I mean,
did we see a hench that we were all trading texts about the Giants? Why are we not betting this? I mean, they've had like their last 12 games, the first half, they have like 0-3-3, 0-0-3, 3-7, 3-3-0. Like, what are we doing? We got to be smart about this.
Don't know what we're doing.
After 7 of those games, we should be betting them.
They have the 5th pick and the 7th pick. So this is a nice job for a GM.
Mm-hmm.
I would not trade anything for Russell Wilson.
No.
I would. I think there's some good kind of mid-level quarterback signings out there. Mm-hmm. You know, there's this year's versions of like the Wentz kind of trades, but I think there's better versions of those guys. Like, if Jimmy G is available over the winter, he's a better option than anybody who was an option last year.
Sure, if you can't get Aaron Rodgers, I think and you don't want to draft, I think that's just the type of guy you want.
Well, Joe Judge got annihilated by Sally Jenkins, who is the best old school newspaper columnist for sports in the country right now. And she just annihilated him. She's great at these 1,100 word annihilations, and she really did it to Joe Judge. Next one for this is it. Russell Wilson in Seattle.
Yeah, I do think he goes somewhere else. And I don't know if it'll be a good move.
New Orleans?
like Cleveland or New Orleans or something like that. I could see that.
Cleveland would be interesting. I think that's too small of a market for him.
What about Pittsburgh?
I think he goes. It's funny. I would have said Vegas, but now if you're Vegas, Carr seems like he's got that whole locker room. It seems like they love him and he's playing well. I don't know if they're going to be looking for a new quarterback.
I wonder, do we? I know it happened like with Gretzky and but whenever you Rodgers, Rodgers might go to Pittsburgh, he might go to Denver. It's like, oh, his girlfriend doesn't want to live in Denver. Like you wonder with Russ, like, oh, Ciara doesn't want to live in New Orleans. Like, does it matter? Does that ultimately matter? Have we seen that?
They're 5 months.
Big thing? Yeah, right. I think.
I forgot about Denver. So Denver would be the one for Russ because that team was actually. I thought they had some talent. They had an awful offense coaching situation, which was
a weird thing, though. I was talking about like quitting on your coach. The Broncos should have won that game. They should have beat the Chiefs. That fumble 6 was ridiculous. They were about to go up, I think, 2 scores. It didn't seem like Fangio was probably not the answer. He lost 30 games in 3 years, but it's weird that they didn't quit on him, right? Like there's something to be said about that. And I don't know what it is.
Sometimes people are bad at hiring.
Yeah.
And like he hired a bad offensive staff and watching their offense was just painful. Believing that Drew Lock was going to do it. I mean, Drew Lock, that was the best he's ever played yesterday and they still almost didn't win.
Maybe only 20 men or women in this country are able to coach. Like we know somewhere between 26 and 28 men are able to be quarterback for a team. Maybe it's even fewer that could head coach, and Fangio could be a great defensive coordinator or something for the Bears. Like go back to wherever. It doesn't matter. He'll be a great DC.
Well, it's like how many people can be an executive producer of a late night television show?
It is like that. It's kind of like that. I don't even know where you're getting at. The whole Fallon thing.
Nah,
I know what the hell you're talking about.
I'm just throwing some bait at you.
You're just having fun. You're having some COVID fun. COVID chuckles.
Is this it for me and gambling? I might have to retire. I have 4 rounds left to turn it around.
You better not.
I got crushed. Believed in the Patriots. Is this it for the Trevor Lawrence bus talk? I think it is. He showed me enough today where I'm like, all right, let's throw away the season, which I felt this way anyway. But I think we have to go into the offseason and say, throw it out. Ridiculous year. Everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. He had no weapons, but if you watched him manage the game today, there was enough there that made me think there's something there.
I agree. I just don't know why there weren't 3 or 4 games like this. Right? It's just weird that it was only one and it was the last one. I guess he had a couple of decent ones, but this was
Is this it for Trey Lance in San Francisco potentially?
I think we have to wait a week. Like I said.
What if they make like the NFC title game? What do you do with Trey Lance at that point?
That's rough.
Does he become like a trade asset? I don't know.
I think so.
Is this it for Baker Mayfield? Yes.
Yeah.
I could not tell the difference between him and Case Keenum today.
Case Keenum?
Yeah. I was watching on DirecTV, that channel that has the 4 games at once.
Mm-hmm.
And he was in the small TV, and there was no discernible difference whatsoever between Baker and Case.
Well, they won at the end of the game. They were celebrating.
I guess there was a discernible difference. Jarvis Landry a couple of times made a cut, and the ball arrived where his hands were. So I guess that was the one difference.
We talked about this. I think Baker did himself a disservice. He was playing with an injury. He played through it. He should have just cut his losses week 8 and opted out of the year, and then he would have been worth something. They would have re-signed him. I guarantee they would have re-signed him. No big deal.
He could have lived on during the season in Progressive Insurance commercials.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Speaking of commercials, is this it for Matt Damon crypto commercials? What's going on? How much money has Matt Damon made? He's made hundreds of millions of dollars. He must have equity.
He must. And how much is that crypto doing? Like that's got to be successful. That's the next thing. Do we get out of gambling and into crypto? Maybe Matt Damon's got to come over and teach us a thing or two.
Let's do that. We have one buddy that knows about all this stuff.
That's right.
That we're not allowed to mention on the podcast.
Right. We can't.
Is this it for Tua in Miami?
Huh.
Do you think he's the starting quarterback for them week 1 next year?
I think he is if they don't get Deshaun Watson. I kind of think that's the only guy they would replace him with at this point.
Or what about Wilson?
No. I don't think. I don't know why. This is all just based on a feeling
because they came very close to getting Watson initially.
Yeah.
I will say he's the worst kind of quarterback to have your favorite team play against or to gamble against because he's terrible. I have no problem saying he's terrible. I think he was like 15 for 22 for like 106 yards or something this game. But then he's good at like the RPO he's good at.
He just needed
good at these
quick
quick
convert
bubble
that
screens.
3rd and 8 at the end to put you away. That was all he needed to do. Yeah.
He's good at these bubble screens. And then he scrambled for a first down. But the whole time it's happening, you're furious. He's like one of those guys. You're like, oh my God, this guy, like you just have no respect for him, even as he's getting first downs on you.
Right. Yeah.
So that's got to mean something.
I think he sticks around.
Okay.